Good morning, everyone. Johnny, thank you for that first slide. So I was sitting next to Johnny, and it's strange that he puts up a slide and it's got an aircraft, because I was sitting there and I was saying, oh no, I hate not starting on time. On-time performance is so important. And worse still, I have my former chairperson from that industry sitting in the room. So I was sitting there and thinking, no, this is not a good start at all for this conference. But apologies, for the late start. But I'm sure we can still look forward to a very good engagement today. So maybe let me actually just start by acknowledging some of the ministers that have joined us this morning. And I'd like to actually acknowledge the Honorable Minister Ndwandwe, the Minister of Public Works and Transport from Eswatini. I'd also like to acknowledge Frank Tayali, the Minister of Transport from Zambia, and Dr. Fernandez, the Minister or the representative for the Minister of Angola. Good morning, once again, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of the SARA Board of Directors, and in my capacity as the SARA President, I wish to thank you all for participating in this year's rail conference, which we have themed as transforming the rail transportation through innovative logistics solutions for increased modal shift. And thank you, Johnny, for setting the tone already in respect of this theme. SARA represents 15 railway organizations from Angola, Botswana, the Congo, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, and therefore has a major role to play as the only association that represents railway companies in the Southern African development community. So standing here today, I am reminded of a quote by one of our former South African presidents, who said, as Africans, we need to share common recognition that all of us stand to lose if we fail to transform our continent. This applies to rail development within the Southern African development community, which requires that all rail operators stand together in partnership with our strong synergies to ensure economic growth and strengthen competitiveness. So various research has confirmed the numerous opportunities that exist for the rail industry within our countries. And economic growth has brought about a new demand for transportation and better infrastructure. One has to only look at the new mining developments that require high-capacity infrastructure or logistical capability for handling mining bulk volumes, and the fact that many of our countries are landlocked and require access to seaports. Furthermore, increased global supply chain competitiveness means that we need more efficient and more integrated logistics within our region. There is more than sufficient demand. Yet the rail transport market share in most of the countries of our continent is still well below 20% of the total volumes of freight transport. And two of the major reasons cited are the lack of investment in infrastructure and the absence of a supporting institutional framework. So rail transport is inevitably critical to supporting economic development. And unless this mode of transport is developed, Africa may not realize its full potential in exploiting its abundant natural resources and wealth. Indeed, we know the current condition of our existing railway infrastructure and the rolling stock condition is poor. The scale and urgency of what is expected of us demands that we act compellingly with an innovative business model for our rail transport sector. Such a model will need to be underpinned by the recognition that greater funds are required to bring the infrastructure up to a suitable level. There are numerous studies, as I've already indicated, that have been undertaken over the years by various reputable organizations, but implementation still remains the biggest challenge. The key focus thus has to be the facilitating implementation, and I personally believe that a better funded SARA remains the best vehicle to coordinate that implementation drive. This year's conference theme, Transforming the Rail Transportation Through Innovative Logistics Solutions for Increased Modal Shift, aptly captures that which we as the rail transportation need to focus on. And the dynamics of this, very briefly, are, firstly, transforming the railway transportation. This is not the responsibility of one group of rail market players, but a process which can only be successful from the collective effort of the policy makers, our governments, the railway operators, and the infrastructure managers, the regulators, the customers, and the service support teams. Secondly, we talk about through innovative logistics solutions. This is a call for innovative thinking and interrogating the norm with a view to overcoming the challenges and taking advantage of accessible resources which can contribute towards our common purpose of the rail industry advancement. Thirdly, for increased modal shift. This is an acknowledgement of an existing unfavorable market imbalance which requires fixing. It talks to the current and increasing burden on our economies as experienced in terms of economic and social costs of road traffic congestion, ever-increasing road maintenance costs, road accidents, increased cost of imports, and a high cost of African exports. These challenges all point to rail as the proven solution, the proviso being that stakeholder collaboration, investment, innovation, and that there is a results-based management of this process. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have been faced by a few turbulent years, and many of the economic and social challenges remain with us today. But on a positive note, we celebrate the continental affirmative policies, such as the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and at a regional level, we uphold the tenets of the SADC protocols, the transport and communication, as well as the trade in services as translated in the 2020 to 2030 SADC Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan. All of these have given specific focus and recognition of the efficacy of the railway industry within our region. So SARA, as the railway specialized wing of SADC, is committed to engage you and all of our other stakeholders as we draw our plan of action to overcome our challenges and to map a progressive regional railway development agenda that will benefit SADC and the entire African continent. We have subsequently chosen, or consequently chosen, rather, a logical framework of this conference to include the panel of ministers who are responsible for the railway transport, and you would have heard that the previous introduction that we'll be hearing from them shortly. In addition to that, the SADC Regional CEs think tank, which shall appraise us of projects to promote regional integration. And we've also made sure that all other topics on the agenda are geared towards ensuring that we cover or we bring in global industry experts who will help us to understand the full project cycle of railways. I'm hopeful that through this conference, practical recommendations and actions will be forged to realize the desired SADC railway revitalization, as well as the modal shift to establish fair and competitive intermodal transport at regional and national levels. The success of this conference is dependent on your active participation and partnerships. We welcome your contributions, and I thank you in advance for those contributions. Siyabonga, obrigado, merci beaucoup, begunene. Thank you.